Welcome back to Bread and Butter, where we are serving up basics for Hearthstone improvement. This is episode 138, and I'm joined as always by Pylet. Pylet, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and today we are here to talk about the new cards, the new set reveal, or at least the beginning of it. And we have a very special guest to help us do that today. We have the Jiminator. The Jiminator, how are you?
I'm great. Very glad to be here and excited to talk about both the new set and just what it looks like we got cooking in the pipeline. I'm excited. Like when they announced the stuff, I was hyped. But yeah,
that's fair. So what have you been doing inside of Hearthstone?
Inside of Hearthstone, if you've been watching my stream, I've been subjecting my chat to me doing like the 600th iteration of a Eudora Quest Mage. This is the first time I have ever liked playing Mage, and I have hit the sauce way too hard. I've been playing this deck. Like I think I've got almost like 2,000 games with this deck since the expansion dropped, and it's just been way too much fun.
Well, fantastic. What is it about Eudora Mage that has you enjoying it so much?
Well, the Eudora Mage is interesting because, Eudora by itself is a fun card, but with the Quest Mage, it has like this extra layer of synergy because it's like when you complete the side quest, if you have your quest weapon up, you will actually cast 6 Duel's Treasures instead of just 2. So that lets you do some absolutely ludicrous things. You can steal games out of thin air. You can drop unbreakable boards. And then on top of that, I added a tiny little Drene Mage package to it to get you more consistent discovers. That has been really fun as well.
And whereabout is your win percentage with this monstrosity?
With this current build, I'm actually 6-2. I've been getting let me pull up my stats super quick. So my active deck, and we're going to look at all my, so with this build, I have 600, almost 700 games, and I am 52%. So better than expected. But yeah.
That is better than expected. Like as anyone has listened to the show more than once knows, we try to make bad decks work sometimes, and often they don't. And usually what happens is you get a start of a deck, and you create a concept, and you build it, and you go 2-0 or 3-0, and then you believe in the deck, and then you're 7-28, and you're like, what the heck happened? and because when you get that confidence, it's like, it's worked once, it's worked twice. And then you're like, I know it can, and then you don't give up, and then you don't say, well, maybe it doesn't actually work. And yeah. But Pylet, what have you been up to in Hearthstone?
Speaking of bad decks, half of my Hearthstone time this past week was me getting on Wednesday or Thursday and saying, Tito, I have a bad idea. Do you want to test this deck with me? So I was listening to the VS podcast, and they were talking about Quest Hunter and feeling like putting the Neri package in there with the 1-cost spells would be an improvement, but there wasn't enough data for them to really do anything with. So I tried building the deck. I only had time to play 6 games. My first 3 I lost close, and then the next 3 I won fairly handily. So I'm like, okay, there might be something here. I don't think it's good, but it's at least playable, maybe. I just finished my climb on Saturday. So I was also sitting at D5 in a lot of strangeness of late in the month, just people who haven't finished their climb and are just kind of hanging out. So ran into a lot of interesting decks, but I did finish the climb. I had a coaching co-op with Wicked Good through Coin Concede on Saturday morning and decided to play a little bit of the Leech Death Knight. We went 6-0 during that hour, and then I won the next game for Final Boss to get to Legend with like a 7-0 record from D3 up. So that deck is pretty good. It's still, those leeches get out of control so quickly if the deck doesn't answer them. Like, if you just tempo leeches for the first 4 turns and they don't answer them, they just have 15 life and they just die from something. It doesn't matter what. You'll find some way to kill them eventually with fire rack or whatever nonsense you do. It doesn't matter because they only have 15 max life. It's crazy.
Yes, it is a fun deck. I've been playing a ton of it. I looked at my stats today. I went to HS Replay to send Pylet a replay from a game that I just had that I played against. I don't even remember what class it was. I think it was a shaman, and the game went so long. We were both out of cards, and they actually missed lethal. They didn't swing at my face because I think they thought I was going to die from fatigue ticks, and that would have been dramatic. But I had 1 health left because of a tick of a leech. And I get the win out of that. And I actually added them afterwards. I was like, did you intend to not hit me in the face with your whatever it was, like a 16-19 Ysera? I just I didn't realize I had the lethal. I'm like, how do you miss that after that game? But it went on for forever. I do want to say that I had a Coin Consume Listener Series match this week, and we decided to bring weird decks. And I brought my Rycleaver Hunter, which got a win, which, won right away. I lost 2 games with Warshak's Trap Shaman, the Imbue Shaman, which I love playing, but I don't have it. That's one of those decks I had a lot of success with the first hour I played with it, 2 hours I played with it, and not so much since, and I don't want to look at the stats. But I was disappointed because my opponent banned my Priest, and my Priest is a bad deck that I've made. No one else has done this, and is basically the entire concept is Explodinator, and you are trying to protect the Explodinator, and you want to bring it back for resuscitates and whatnot, and just keep on dropping bombs at their deck. And they banned that deck, and I was like, how do you ban this pile of cards? But they did. Oh. And I've won with that deck occasionally. I accidentally queued up with it once or twice. When you actually when you click off your browser, you come back, you click, and you're like, how did I click into this deck? And I'm not playing this deck. I was supposed to play in that deck, and I've won with it. So maybe there's potential there. Probably not. But
I forgot,
Jiminator,
Tito.
what have you been doing?
I forgot. I meant to send this list to you during my coaching on Saturday. We played against the Shaman. That I don't know what their game plan was. It was Adjective Soup Shaman. There was Imbue, there was Asteroids, and there's a Curator in there, and Shutter Block. There's so much going on. Wicked Good and I are like, okay, this is pretty standard, Nebula Shaman. And then we started seeing a couple weird spells, like, sure, whatever. And then turn 8 Imbue cards came out. It's just like, what is happening? I also forgot to mention...
It wasn't the quest? It already sounds like it had almost every minion type.
It should have. It was missing that. I also forgot to mention Tito and I did a BG Duos yesterday, and I finally got to do Golden Pirate comp with... I was playing Galakron and rolled into Eudora with my 6-drop, and also hit the quest that makes a tier 1 minion golden and then improves up to 2, 3, 4. So I had a full golden board on turn 8, something like that, and it just steamrolls. I ended up getting a golden Rivendare, so I was triggering Eudora 3 times each turn. It was a lot of fun. That's the first time I've been able to pull that off, and that was quite enjoyable.
It was also enjoyable. I think that turns, since the first 2 or 3 turns you had Eudora died last.
It didn't die, yeah.
Nice.
But Jiminator, what have you been doing outside of the game of Hearthstone?
Outside of the game of Hearthstone, it's been kind of weird for me, but it's been mostly good. I've been on this real weight loss kick for the last 7 months, and getting swole and getting slim. That's the goal. But yeah, so that's been going really great. And then my neighborhood, for some reason, basically a couple months ago, an older lady, she passed away. And then we discovered that this older lady kept a herd of coyotes in her backyard. And when she passed away, these coyotes are now everywhere. So I've been in this active fight with everybody in the neighborhood to get these coyotes out of people's houses. It's been very hectic, very strange, honestly pretty exhausting because the coyotes yap way too much. But yeah, it's been a weird time.
Pilot, hopefully you've been having less interaction with dangerous animals.
I have. So if unless you're counting students and high schoolers, but yeah, it's been. I don't know what it was last week. I talked to multiple teachers across our school and other schools, and I was just like, "This is the longest week ever," and don't know what it was, but I feel like my week was summarized with. So on Friday we had our homecoming last week. So Friday we had our pep rally before the football game at the end of the day. We also had a 3-hour fog delay in the pep rally. Classes were like 12 minutes long unless there's a lunch during it. And I think the whole week was summed up with one of the classes just went outside to hang out and throw frisbees and footballs and whatnot because you're not going to do anything in 10 minutes. And one group of girls went to come back inside, and the inside door handle just straight up fell off the door. I'm like, this sums up the week. This is perfectly explaining the week. So I got it back on. It's fine. It's secure. But it is a long week. But I did have a chance. I on Saturday finally started up some of Hades 2 with 1.0. I decided to start a fresh save because I haven't played in over a year. So I'm like, I'm just going to start fresh. I kind of remember some things, but I'd rather not jump right back into where I was. So that game is amazing, fantastic as expected. And then I finished the third area of Avowed yesterday. I just have the fourth one left and have started to see there's a lot of really interesting choices in that game. It's been a while since I played a game where the choices matter and you feel that impact immediately. And it went from a little choice here, a little choice there to kind of freely go through it. And then it's just like, oh, okay, these are bigger choices and you have to make it right now. And that's a lot of fun.
Fair. Like the Jiminator, I have also been on a weight loss kick, but I'm doing it probably different than you are. I've been doing the 1 meal a day intermittent fasting, and it's been very successful for me and surprisingly sustainable. I don't plan on doing it forever. I have some goals to hit, but we've already we're lighter than we've been in probably 2 decades, maybe. I don't know. I have to look, but we're pretty happy with the results in a short period of time. So I would say that I do recommend it. And if you have questions about it, I'm not a doctor, and it may not be right for you, but I can tell you what my experiences have been. I also started playing Hades 2. I started a new file on Friday, because I was like, you know what, whatever, it doesn't matter what I've done before. And I made it to Hecate on my first run, and I got through around like the 5th run. And by the time I was done for the night, I believe I had 2 attempts on the second boss, the sisters, the band.
I love that fight.
It's a good fight, but I was surprised that I did as well as I did. Right away, because I know I did not have that kind of success in Hades when I first started playing. But it's been fun. But Pilot, this isn't a Hades podcast. Mostly, this is a Hearthstone podcast, and we have some big news.
We do. We have a lot of news today. So we pushed back recording to Monday because we had the teaser last week that we were getting the new expansion information on Monday. So we have the blog and cinematic and everything for Across the Timeways, the new expansion, which, we knew about Chromie and kind of that was going to be some sort of time expansion from what they talked about last year. So we have that, and we have a lot of new cards for it and a lot of references to older cards and legendaries and things. We have a couple of keywords for this expansion. We have Rewind, where Rewind will appear on, I believe it's always going to appear on cards that have some sort of random effect, whether it's adding a random card or drawing a random card. And if it has Rewind, it allows you a chance to basically re-roll it. So it'll open up a sideways hourglass, the blog post, and I can't think of the video talks about how they made that, and you can choose to keep it or rewind, and it'll redo it, and you'll get something different. So we've seen a couple cards with that, such as a 3-mana 2/2 Battlecry, draw a random minion, give it +2/+2, or a 2-mana mage spell, add a random minion to your hand, it costs 3 less. Those both have rewind. And then our legendary for the pre-order patch also has rewind ×3. We have an 8-mana 3/3 mech, Mr. Clocksworth. Rewind, rewind, rewind. Battlecry, summon 2 random legendary minions. So for that one, you get the opportunity to redo 3 times. I think I haven't had a chance to see it in action, so I'm assuming you get to do. Is it a rewind and it does both of them, or do you get to choose one of each?
It's a rewind with both of them.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, and so I played with this card today, and I played with both the Portal. So if you go to the shop, you get 2 free Portal Vanguards. So make sure you go to your shop and click free and get those free. You also get free the rogue
signature
card
robocollar.
Signature robocollar. That's the words I'm looking for.
Nice.
You get free signature ones of those. So make sure you go to the shop. But I took the the Death Knight, the Leech Death Knight that I've been playing, and I took out Xavius, and I put in Mr. Clockworth, and I took out a couple other cards, and I put in the Portal Vanguards because I figured they kind of do the same things as Xavius, but you don't get the Dark Gift, but you still tutor out cards, and you have a better chance of getting what you're looking for because you have Rewind. Rewind feels really good. Like, at least on the Portal Vanguards, you pull, it gives you a second opportunity to pull something that maybe, because if you're just getting something random, it's like, oh, it's a two mana, it's an 8-mana card. I don't need an 8-mana card right now. You can send it back and you can get it. Or if it's like, hey, it's great having an extra 2/2 on my Ziliax. Seems really good. Mr. Clockworth, on the other hand, did not feel good. It was really cool to rewind and rewind and rewind, and it just reminds you how many bad legendaries there are. That so it's not that it puts them into your hands; it summons them on the board. So a lot of legendaries that are good might have good battle cries.
Yep.
But you definitely do not want to have Mr. Clockworth give you Dungar or whatnot. So I think this card is fun but unplayable from my initial experience, but that's only because of the bad pool of. But it's fun. It was fun, and the Portal Vanguard felt really good. Jim, have you played with these today?
Yeah, I've actually been able to play with all 3. So semi-stable Portal, even though you can't collect it until the event 2 weeks from now, it can be randomly generated. And since I'm playing Discover Mage, I've been seeing it quite a bit today. But I will say, Portal Vanguard, I did test it out. It feels pretty good. I think there are quite a few decks that have that 3-drop slot where you're just normally trying to draw something, and maybe I think it kind of meets that sweet spot of tutor specific. It even has the dragon tag, which has come up a few more times than I expected. But I'm imagining a quest shaman could use Portal Vanguard pretty well.
Yeah.
Because you got those cheap little weenies you love to draw and play as soon as possible. And dragon's not a type I think you often get, aside from the 1-mana gift wrapped whelp. And then Mr. Clocksworth, I did try him. He doesn't feel great, at least in the decks I was playing with him. But I do see potential in 1 or 2 decks. Potentially, Fyrakk Rogue, I think, could use him because they're able to cheat him out with the Scoundrel. And I think a Shaman or a Hunter using the 2-mana location, the Parrot Sanctuary, could maybe use it. But besides that, I'm not convinced. The problem is, this effect on turn 8 isn't spicy enough in my opinion, but this effect on turn 6 or turn 5, now we're talking.
So it's a Rogue or Druid card, got it. It also could be good in Imbue Shaman. Not that Imbue Shaman is good, but you could probably pull something up and then maybe, you get a 7-mana, 8-mana thing. It's a crap card, but then you can imbue it and adjust it or whatever. So, it's fun. I don't think it's meant to be good. I don't think I think it's not meant to be the prison of Yogg-Saron or anything like that. So I think that's good. But I think Portal Vanguard we're going to see it more often. I think it has the potential of being a good aggro card because if you're playing a low to ground deck and you're you have 3 mana pull something and that whatever low to the ground card has got +2/+2 on it, that seems pretty solid and it's cycle and whatnot. So I think there's potential there. I definitely think it's a decent card.
Yeah. There is actually one other thing that I want to talk about with Clocksworth for a quick sec, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So the one thing that jumped out at me is that if we see in the reveals, there might be, I don't know, I'd love for there to be a neutral legendary that synergizes with the amount of times you rewind. And if that ends up being the case, then Clocksworth might actually find a home. But at least right now, yeah, he's not there.
And that's fine. But that's not the only keyword we have, Pylet, is it?
It is not. So we got another keyword, Fabled. So Fabled is going to be on legendary cards, and it looks like each class will have a Fabled legendary. And for this, each of them come with 2 other legendary cards. The other 2 are not collectible, so it's not taking away spots from the 10 cards that each class gets. But when you put the Fabled card into your deck, the other 2 cards will automatically go with it. Kind of like if you do Arena, kind of like the draft buckets for your legendary. Is kind of the most comparable thing. So we have a couple of reveals for that. We have the Hunter one, which is Ranger General Sylvanas. Fabled Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all enemies. If you've played Illyria or Verisa, repeat for each. So it comes with Illyria and Verisa. Both of them are 3 mana 2/4s. Illyria, discover a spell. If you've played Sylvanas or Verisa, repeat for each. Verisa, give the minions in your deck +1/+1. If you played the other 2, repeat for each. So really interesting keyword and kind of different ways that they can go with it, because we've also gotten the Paladin one, which is Gelbin of Tomorrow, which is an 8 mana 6/6 mech. Battlecry, put one of each aura from your deck into the battlefield. So the auras for Paladin, and it comes with 2 legendary auras, a 4 mana Gnomish aura. At the end of your turn, restore 4 health to all your characters, lasts for 3 turns, and Mechatork's aura. At the end of your turn, give a random friendly minion +4/+4 and Divine Shield, and both of those auras also have tradable as well, especially since they're legendary. That's really nice then it gives you the option to, I need this now, or I want to wait to pull this with the 8 drops. So I really like Fabled. It's really unique. It's a really, really cool thing that, one of those things that we're able to do in a digital space a lot easier than a physical card game. But just kind of having this one card built-in synergy idea without taking up other cards from the set, I also really like, because if they didn't do this, you have to put so many other cards to it from the set, and now all other 9 card slots are open to do other things with, and that's really, really cool.
And it's great because just recently we've been talking and kind of complaining a little bit about how if you have, say, like with the quest, you have support cards for the quest, and that takes up, and if it doesn't hit, it takes up cards that were given to your set for that. So if you have 10 cards and 5 of those cards were against your quest and the quest didn't hit, well then, boom, half your set's gone for that class. We're just putting them all into one card. The only thing that I kind of wish they did was, if you had Fabled, I kind of wish that those 2 cards didn't count towards your max. So maybe you'd have 32 cards in a deck, because those don't count. But this is really, really good. Let's talk about the Hunter cards first. I did check on Dark Lady. She's doing okay. She's not over. She probably has now extra cosplay work to do for the next few months. But Jiminator, what do you think about these cards here, the Ranger General Sylvanas?
I really like the Sylvanas series. I don't know the Fabled. I love Fabled Sylvanas. And the reason why is that I like that all three of them are kind of like just general utility cards.
Mhm.
So it's like if you're playing a hunter deck and you're building your hunter deck and you're like, dang, I love this deck, but I don't really have good 3-drops. This one card can kind of like halfway solve your problem right there. And I think that's really neat. I also like how like both of these fables are showing that they can do these other directions. It's like the hunter ones that we see here, they're like, this is like just a general utility package for any hunter deck that wants to go in any kind of direction. And then the paladin one is, this is like you're building around this card. And I think that's super cool that we can see one or the other. Yeah, I love that like how they scale up. And even though like Illyria on first glance seems to be the like least impressive, because it's just, oh, you discover a spell, neat. Like at first that's what I thought, but then I remembered Hunter has really good discover synergies. So even if you get her later, there's still that bonus of like, oh, you needed to get your your alien encounter down to 0. Well, maybe Illyria does it in one go because you played as Sylvanas before that and cleared an early board. And then Varisa, like, I think it's super cool if you open 2 of them and you have a coin. It's like now Varisa is like, oh, now we have Prince Keliseth on crack. So that could be really interesting too for different hunter decks.
And I like how it increases. I like when things get more powerful the later you can play them. Like when you have a card that's like 3 mana and then you get it on turn 10, you're like, I got my 3 mana cards and I wish I had that before, but now they're useless. At least now, if you've played a couple of these, you're getting a little bit more out of them. And I like that. And I do like the Gelbin of Tomorrow. Maybe I'll start playing Paladin again. It's been a while. But we not only do we have the 2 legendary auras, they're also giving us one chronological aura, which is a 5 mana at the end of your turn. Summon a 3/5 dragon with taunt, lasts 3 turns. That doesn't really sound like a good card in general. I don't think it's okay, but if it's being played for free when you play another card, that sounds a lot better. Plus, you have the one that's going to pair nicely with the aura that they're using for the egg, the one that if you have 1 minion, give it +10/+10. And you also have
not +10/+10. Set it to 10/10.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Set it to 10/10. You also have the one that summons a what is it, an 8 mana minion at the end of your turn, and
6
you
drop.
compare that
6 mana. But yeah.
6 mana. Okay, well, sorry, I haven't played Paladin in a while.
Tito's just buffing Paladin left and right tonight.
Yeah.
But all of those things have some sort of potential synergy, especially if you kind of are, you clear the board and then you have that or something. I don't know. I think there's potential there for it to be fun and interesting and exciting.
I'm actually super excited for this card. Sorry if is it okay if I butt in?
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Okay. I'm actually super excited for this card because at first I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. It's like Mysterious Challenger, but big. And it is, but the more I've like thought about it, the more I get excited about this card. There's an old epic from Whizbang's Workshop called Cardboard Golem that everyone forgot. It's like 4 mana, 4/4, battle cry, increase the durability of your auras by 1 and the hand, deck, or battlefield. So if you like, even just going that into chronological aura, that seems okay because now you'll have 4 turns of Drakes. And then the other thing that's super cool about Gelbin specifically is the fact that he's 8 mana. So at first I was like, okay, cool. Paladin already makes this kind of deck better than most people would because Paladin has the tutor your most expensive cards. They got the Ursine Maul, they got the Grill Master. Those are already pretty good. Yep. But then on top of that, because it's 8 mana, you can slot in the Rogue Tourist, Linessa, and then you can play Robocaller. And now Robocaller can tutor Gelbin the second you draw Robocaller. So the amount of ways you have to draw Gelbin is kind of crazy. And then on top of that, Linessa also gives you access to the coins. So you'll be able to cheat out Gelbin more on like turn 7 or even turn 6. And if you're able to do that, this seems kind of nuts.
Yeah, I'm super excited for these cards. I will say when I started scrolling through, because I'm super busy at work today, I had to go back and do a bunch of stuff for school, and I had enough time to like scroll through really quick, and I just saw people talking about Fabled on Discord before I had a chance to look at it. I was super confused because the last Orcana set is called Fabled. And I've been playing that. I'm like, what is happening? And then I finally got a chance to look at the keyword. But
I'm a former Yu-Gi-Oh guy, so that's an old archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh too.
So, but yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with these. But the Fabled keyword, it's giving me the feeling similar to like what we had with Colossus and Titan, to where it's just something very generic that you just, not the Paladin one. The Paladin one's definitely built around, but just something to where you find a reason and a way to just put it in a deck, especially, Sylvanas, is with how unique all three of those effects are. You can find almost any hunter deck that's going to work with, unless it's a very, very specific game plan like Quest Hunter.
And also, the Paladin has a support card shown, which is a 4-mana 3/3 elemental battle cry. If you control an aura, deal 3 damage to all enemies. That seems pretty solid. And also, don't forget, you can play your 1-mana 1/2 Rangari Scout with Ranger Captain Illyria and fill your hand from nothing. And there's just lots of fun things we're going to be able to do here. So we also have a couple other cards that have been revealed. Pylet, why don't you bring us into the Timeway Warden?
Sorry, I was just thinking of with Rangari Scout, if we get 2 copies of any of the 3 Sylvanas cards, that adds an additional tick to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It just says repeat for each. I don't know if each means each instance, or if it just matches like you've played a Sylvanas trigger, you've played an Illyria trigger.
I'm assuming, if you've played Illyria or Sylvanas. So it'd be like if you played if you played 2 copies of Illyria, it would only count for 1, I think.
Okay. I'm interested to see how that works. We'll have to science it at some point.
Maybe. We'll definitely figure that out probably Theory Crafting Week. Somebody will do something.
There's probably a post about it somewhere if we search around hard enough on Twitter or Blue Sky. Someone's probably already asked. But we had a couple more cards in the reveal, talking about, tying into the theme of bending time and stuff. So we have a Demon Hunter card, Timeway Warden. It's a 4-mana 2/6 battlecry. Imprison an enemy minion. It goes dormant for 10,000 turns. Death Rattle. It awakens. I absolutely love the flavor of putting it to sleep for 10,000 turns. So as much as it matters or doesn't matter, I love it. We have Divergence, which is a 5.
Hold on.
Oh,
let's talk about Time Warden first.
Okay,
let's talk about Timeway Warden. So this has a potential if you find a way to silence it or bounce it. This basically can take up a space on your opponent's board, because then that thing's dormant forever, and it really is dormant forever. So I think we're going to see some weird things with that. Especially if there's any kind of support for that. Jiminator is already thinking about something.
Mark Mix, make a deck with this, and my life is yours. Make them fill up my opponent's entire board with 10,000 years of dormant minions. I'm excited. I will watch that YouTube video twice, at least.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think this card's hilarious. Also, kind of terrifying if it's ever too good, but. I'm trying to think, if there's a consistent way to generate it in Rogue, it could be a problem, but I don't think there is, so rest easy for now.
We finally have a proper solution for starships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'll be interested to see if they bring back some flexible silence with Demon Hunter. We had a little bit of it early on when they first introduced it, to where they had some silence, as a class, mechanic, and then it's kind of gone away. So I wonder if we'll start seeing a little bit more of that. They've definitely done, they keep trying to do disruptive things with Demon Hunter, and none of it lately has landed a lot. but I think if we get the right mix of them, I think that this could definitely do something. And it's probably best that it doesn't have like a type or anything like that to reduce the chance of randomly getting it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, we also have Divergence. You were going to tell us about that one.
Yes, so 5 mana Warlock Shadow Spell. Split a random minion in your hand into 2 halves. We've seen this effect on different things before. I think most recently the Mage Elemental from Badlands, where Druid Elemental is split it in half. So the effect stays on both half, and it just cuts the stats in half as cleanly as it can. So if it's 8 mana, each half is 4 mana. If it's an odd number, one gets one more than the other for cost, health, and attack.
And Mezzadune really saw a lot of play, so I'm sure this is also going to be a meta tyrant.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it might be better in Warlock.
We have a ton of battle cries right now. Like,
the fact that this works on any minion is both its biggest strength and kind of its biggest weakness too. Like, it's going to be interesting to build around this card.
So, Mezzadune was run in a lot of meta mage decks. So most of them annoying because they use it to tutor Sleet Skater, and then it added 2 more freezes that they could do. But I mean, we've seen this be powerful before, but we've seen it when it's been targeted. So I think that we'll see this if it's a very specific thing that they're trying to do it with.
That's fair. It'll be fun. Someone will do something fun with it. It's always one of those cards. It looks like one of those cards which will be fine until it's not.
Probably. That's a lot of Warlock cards in general.
Yes.
Mark, we also have make a card with Divergence. I will watch the video twice. Okay, sorry.
You will. So you'll take the video and you'll split it in half and watch it equally once on each.
Yeah.
I think we have one more. We have 3 more cards. So I'll take this one. Pylet. We have a 3 mana 8/8 dragon, Time Lord Nor's Dormu, which is dormant for 5 turns. Rush. After you play a card from the newest expansion, awaken 1 turn sooner. So you actually can kind of control when this comes alive, and it has Rush, which a lot of times things come out of dormancy, and it's actually dormant for another turn because it still has summoning sequence. And in this case, you can actually get it on your board and possibly time it if you need to clear something. So I think this card has some potential. A 3 mana 8/8's nothing to sneeze at, I guess. So I think it has potential. I don't think it'll be good, but I think there'll be certain places where it might find a home. What do you think, Pylet?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if this is where our neutral legendaries are at, I'm happy. It's good enough that you can consider, especially in a world with Elise. If you just need to fill a 3-drop. Not that we normally have trouble filling our 3-drops, but every now and then we get some weird classes and sets where the 3-drop slot is really awkward for some classes. And if the set is good, the most recent set, then it just makes this card stronger. So I like where this is at. I like that it probably won't be a tyrant. It's not going to be an Elise or a Ceaseless or a Yogg or whatever, but it's going to be something that we see every now and then, and that's a-okay for neutral legendaries.
It's weird. Actually, go ahead, Jiminator, and then I'll come to my it's weird.
I really like the design of this card. I think it's funny that everyone for the last few weeks, months even, have been talking about oh man, I just don't feel the incentive to play the new cards. Well, this is a card that is literally designed to make you want to play the new cards. And the cool thing, there's I got one little minus on it, but a lot of pluses. So one thing I like about this card is that this is a card you're always going to have to keep in the back of your mind whenever you're building for standard or even wild, whenever a new expansion comes out. Because basically, let's say that there's a package where it's add a bunch of Moonfires to your hand. Now, normally that package might be good, might be bad, But now you have like another element that was like, oh, well, this card actually works with that. Cool. Bang, 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 bang. I get my 8/8 rush. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool to have this kind of card. Now, my one little minus is that sometimes I like to build, or I like to like remember, I like to have old decks that I used to play built in the client. And sometimes I'll like to take them on a spin in Wild if I want to relive the nostalgia and then remember why they're bad. But this card, unfortunately, even if it's part of like my favorite deck ever, it can really only be a product of the time that you play it in, which is a little bit of a minus, but I think it's a very interesting card.
And I think it's so this 3-mana 8/8. It just kind of reminds me, not that it's the same card, but we used to have the guy that would summon 2/3/3s for your opponent or put it in their hand, and if it died, it would summon them for you and whatnot. And then we had the card that came out last mini set that dealt. It was a legendary that deals 4 damage if it dies on your opponent's turn, but 1 damage if it dies on your turn. And we all thought that was going to be pretty much a similar card, and that card almost never sees play. So it's like it's hard to really evaluate a card like this because you look at it, you're like, oh, it's kind of like this, it's kind of like that, but you never know until you kind of see how it flows. So I think it could be fun. Jiminator, why don't you bring us into the soldiers here?
For sure. I believe these are our last. These are our last 2 cards from this blog. We got the Soldier of Bronze and the Soldier of the Infinite. Soldier of Bronze is a 5-mana 5/3 with Taunt, Battlecry, double this minion's health. We're hitting those Pit Fighter stats, baby. And then Soldier of the Infinite is a 5-mana 6/5 Rush, Battlecry, double this minion's attack.
These seem pretty solid. Like, nothing exciting. Probably you'll find a home for the first week or 2, and then people will get bored of them and find better things to do.
I think the problem is they're just a little too expensive for what they do.
Yeah.
If you scaled down the stats and you made them like 4 or 3 mana, I think these would actually be like pretty interesting for a few decks. But at 5 mana, it's kind of a big ask unless you use them in like hand buff stuff.
Yep.
And they're low rules for Imbue Paladin now.
That's true.
What do you think about our dragons here, Pylet?
Yeah, like I said, I think they're fine. I mean, I know I was one of the ones saying last time we recorded or 2 times ago about I haven't liked how much power has been in neutral. And I feel like this kind of pulls us back to where it's we're still getting cards that you can look at and consider in certain situations, but they're not going to be. You can't build an all neutral deck because you have these cards in there. It's in. I do think it's kind of in a sweet spot for hand buff because it lets you. A lot of our hand buff stuff is in that turn 2 to turn 4 time range, to where then you've got this on 5 and you're able to swing back without it being too late in the game. So I do like that. I haven't looked at the Imbue, dragon list. I feel like the 5-drop spot was all over the place anyways. I feel like these might actually be a little bit better than some of those. So like you're fine. You're fine pulling these off of that. But I don't think many people are playing that deck.
Maybe they find their way into another scam hunter deck or a couple muscles and whatnot. So yeah, I can see it. We'll try it. But anyway, we are doing things out of order today, like we've been doing for the last few weeks. Normally, we talk about how things are going, and then we talk to our new guests and learn about them. But we were just so excited to have new cards to talk about. We were just excited, so we just jumped right into the news. But I think it's time to get to know our guest here, the Jiminator.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we have one more card. We got the weird side quest thing. It was in the patch.
I was going to chime in with that really quick. So with the announcement, we also got 33.6 today. So pre-orders are live. All those are pretty much typical to what we've had in the past, minus, they fully did away with all the, cards that they threw. The, pre-order epic that they did with Corridor Creeper or whatever it was. So yeah, the big bundle, small bundle, and then if you get both, they have a sequence. bundle that includes Diamond, Time Lord, and Dormu. There we go. So those are all available if you are inclined to pre-purchase. We also, as Jiminator was talking about, we have Mr. Clocksworth for free when you log in, and then there's also Portal Vanguard in the shop that is free. So make sure to go claim that. And then we also have an in-game event starting, Chromie's Chrono Catastrophe. And with that, there's a lot of stuff that they're giving out for that. In total, it'll be 4 across the Timeways packs. The 2 normal and golden versions of Semi-Stable Portal. That's the 2-mana mage spell that we were talking about with Rewind. And 2 normal golden versions of Storm the Gates. That is not a card we have talked about. It is a 1-mana neutral side quest, which is a spell. Side quest, play 3 beast or undead. Reward, craft a custom zombies. It costs 3 less. So side quests are a major throwback to one of the Saviors sometime in there. I played the cards,
I think it was
they came
Descent
out
of
before
Dragons.
That's what it was. I played with the cards, but they came out before I started playing, so I couldn't remember what set they were from. So smaller version of a quest, it'll give you the little exclamation point pop up, but they're quicker to complete and have a smaller reward. This one being neutral is something that everyone.
The big thing is that they don't start in your hand.
Yes,
you got to draw them naturally.
Yes.
Yeah, but they sound like it'll be just about as impact as most of the quests we have currently. So
that's fair.
I actually got a little bit of hope for this thing. So at first I wasn't very intrigued, but then I kind of thought about it a little more. And the more I think about it, the more I like it. Like BBU can use it pretty well. If you, I don't know, maybe you have extra slots there. Maybe there's just stuff floating. The other things that kind of interested me about the card was I'd have to double check if when you craft a custom Zombeast, if it's always a hunter minion. Because if that's the case, then that could actually be appealing for Burgle decks, which I know we're kind of going all over the place. And then on top of that, I could see it being good in any amalgam deck as just a way to generate some big weird threat to kind of take the heat off your amalgam dying from a silence effect. I don't know if it's amazing, but it's got my noggin jogging. That's why I'm excited.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of interesting beasts that would be in the pool, because for this, it's always, your options are always 5 costs or less. That way you can never get anything too expensive to play. So we've got all of the buff hunter beasts that would be in that pool. So that, summon a copy if it has X amount of attack or more, or do whatever if it is this amount of attack. Could be some interesting options there. So
okay. Well,
so
now we're going to try to roll it back.
Sorry.
It's all good. I'm going to finish one more quick thing with patch notes here before we go on. So those are in there. Tavern tickets, a couple golden portal vanguards, the free card in the shop, and then also a paladin hero skin for Naz Dormu. Also with the patch, this is our mid-season Battlegrounds updates. They got as close to chaos mode as they're going to get. You can thank Blizzlet for that. But we'll have a huge shakeup. We'll have buddies. We'll have anomalies. There's a lot of things going on, more than I can comprehend. But there's a ton of changes there, and I'm looking for anything else big. The free ladder decks for new and returning players have refreshed like they normally do. There's another Dark Moon Fair thing. We'll just breeze over that. And then there's some bug fixes. Nothing I saw overly of note other than that there's apparently a bug where non-Battlecry minions could consume Murmur's effect, since it's only once per turn now, and that has been fixed. So that's probably the most newsworthy standard fix.
When I logged in today, I was actually offered one of those decks. So I don't know if I was offered. I kind of went back because it was hey, these are for the next 7 days. You can pick from these decks. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird because I'm not new. But I probably should have clicked on one.
Huh.
No, I thought that was a bug, but it turns out that's actually a promotion that they're doing as a part of this launch.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. They're giving everybody a free deck.
Okay. And now, Pylet, do you mind if I get to know our guest?
I suppose.
Can I get to that part now? So, Jiminator, how did you get started in gaming, and how did that lead you to Hearthstone?
Well, as a kid, I actually didn't play a lot of games, but my brothers, they were gaming fanatics. Like mid to 90s to mid 2000s, these guys were playing everything they could. Diablo 2, Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Planescape Torment. They loved the classics and they would play them all the time. They loved Tetris, all that stuff. And when I started to get a little older, I started to dabble in gaming myself. And at first it was like RTSs, just like they were into. But then I started to kind of deviate because my friends in my social group, they started playing physical card games and they loved Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is a long time ago, but I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! I got to like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Nationals in 2013. Like it was funny because it's like I played when I was a little kid, and then I stopped for a bunch of years, and then I was like, oh, I'm finally gonna like stop doing gaming, and I'm gonna be like the cool kid when I get when I'm gonna be like out of high school. And then the second I came back from this from this exchange trip, I come back, and my buddies are like, hey, Jiminator, we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. And I'm like, God damn it. All right, let's do it. And then I got really into it. And yeah, it was just, yeah, with Yu-Gi-Oh! I was just playing so much of it. And I used to like sell cards too. I managed to pay for one of my years or one of my terms in university with just selling and hawking Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. So that was pretty fun. But near the end of my like love of Yu-Gi-Oh, I had some friends put me onto Hearthstone, and it was sort of like, wow, I can do all the things that I love in physical card games, but the convenience of digital too. Sweet. And then
Fantastic.
I've been on that since God knows when.
So now you say your friends were like, hey, the Jiminator. Why are you called the Jiminator?
That is a little bit of a weird story. It's not that weird, but basically, when I was like 10 years old, my brother, my eldest brother, took me to a gaming cafe, and he wanted to. He was in the middle of his doctorate finals, and he wanted to play some StarCraft to blow some steam off. And he took me with him, and he was like, "All right, we're gonna make you a battle tag, and you're gonna play StarCraft with me for a couple hours." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And he just made me a battle tag. He thought the Jiminator would be a cool name. And basically, I didn't play StarCraft since then. But when I tried to start a Hearthstone account, I realized, oh, I had an email registered with Battle.net. Okay. And I saw that the name was the Jiminator, and I was like, you know what? Let's keep it. And yeah, that's how I got the name.
So what got you into streaming and content creation?
I've always been kind of a theatrical person. And I always loved hearing myself talk. I don't know how else to put it, but I always loved hearing myself talk. So I figured, why not marry the two and just do something that can let me hear myself talk and let me play games. So yeah. I also got inspired from watching Disguised Toast back in the day and some other content creators at the time. There was a guy called Wizard Poker who used to post these like funny MLG edits, which are like very over edited, like, oh, mom, get the camera, or oh, baby, a triple kind of stuff. And I loved those videos back then. So it was kind of fun seeing it applied to Hearthstone. And I also loved watching Reynad, and even though he was the saltiest man to ever live. And little did we know. But Reynad, I also loved watching Wreckful, and I loved watching Trump SC. Just of great personality to watch. And watching all those guys, I was like, you know what? I can try to do this myself. And I just started streaming one day and haven't looked back since.
All right, well, we can skip the what Hearthstone creators have inspired you question. So let's move on to why do you call yourself the second best rogue on NA?
Oh, that's a fun story. So I think it was like 4 or 5 years back. I think the game designer at the time, Ixar, he posted one day or basically Jay Alex was pestering him about who had the most rogue wins in North America. And this was like for I think a couple of weeks on Twitter. And eventually XR was like, here's the guy who has the most rogue wins in NA. And it was Jay Alex. I'm like, oh, and Jay Alex posted a screenshot. He's like, oh, sweet. And then just for fun, I'm going to post the next two. And then I was like, oh, I'm number 2. Okay. And that was like kind of a big confidence boost because like I play a lot of rogue. If I were to pull up my wins, I think I'm at like 37,000, something like that. So I'm normally a rogue fanatic, which has made this expansion weird because this is like the first expansion I think I've ever not played like over 1,000 games of rogue. But yeah, that's why I call myself the second best rogue on NA because I'm assuming there's some guy on the Asian server who's got more than me.
You also call yourself a deck building savant, but a bad one. How do you work deck building into your content?
Well, that actually kind of goes back to Yu-Gi-Oh! So one of my goals whenever I play Hearthstone is I want to play Hearthstone and have fun on my terms. Now, for some people, that's getting the highest win rate. That's getting the highest rank. For me, that's optimizing my dumb pet strategy so that I can get the best results with it that I can. And this kind of goes back to right when I started streaming. It was kind of surreal, but basically a couple of weeks before I started streaming, I managed to go to DreamHack Montreal in 2017. And when I was at the event, I didn't perform super well, but I got to talking with some of the people who did perform well. And one of the guys there was this Magic the Gathering player called Wallalumpa. And he came with a deck that he called Prince Rogue. So this was a deck that used Kaliseth and Valinar, the really old Prince cards. And he really liked the deck for the tournament. And I asked him, hey, can I take it to the side event? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then I loved it in the side event. And then after the event, I was like, dude, this deck performed amazing for me in the side event. Is it okay if I take it on ladder and like tweak it a little bit? And he's like, it's not going to do well on ladder, but go ahead. And when I came back and then I started streaming and I went from rank 5 to rank 5 legend in like 4 days. Just playing this deck that I slightly modified. I think I changed like 3 cards. And it was just playing this deck. And the fun thing was that basically by pure happenstance and by watching this other guy, we kind of stumbled on the first build of Kaliseth Rogue before Kaliseth Rogue really blew up. And that was kind of like my first taste of like, this is a weird, dumb pet deck, but I'm actually pushing it to be like really good. So I've kind of been chasing the dragon since then, or the pirate or the amalgam, but I've been chasing that strategy since then to just try to get get a fun, dumb idea or like take a card that people really sleep on and then just make it into something as fun as possible. Even if it takes 1,000 games, I will play those 1,000 games and I will like min-max it like crazy. A lot of my chat says that I'm that I have like absurd endurance for being able to play with these decks that feel so bad for so long. But yeah, I always try to grind with something silly.
So how many games have you played with Black Rock and Roll and Rycleaver?
Unfortunately, not many because I had other rogue things taking up my time. I'm sorry, Tito, but rogue is my poison.
So outside of the Prince decks, are there any other particular weird, random, and the Eudora deck. Are there any particular favorites you have of your bizarre plans?
Oh, you know it. I got a couple. So one of my first decks one of my decks that I was really proud of was a deck I took from rank 5 ladder to top 100 legend in Saviors of Uldum, and I called it Ankasari. So this is one of the decks that like cemented a lot of deck building ethos that I had from Yu-Gi-Oh and applied it into Hearthstone. So Ankasari is a deck where you use Anka the Buried, Octosari, and a large amount of like big death rattles. And your goal is you play Anka on 5, you discount a bunch of death rattles, and then you play them out and you do some weird combo. There were a bunch of versions of this while it was in standard. The first build, for example, was all about abusing Chef Nomi. So what you would do is, and the other thing that's fun is that these are always Highlander decks. So the Anka decks were always Highlander decks. So you play one of each big death rattle and you just try to combo it together in a weird way. So, but the other thing that I like to focus on was the inter-synergies. So I played Nightmare Amalgam in that deck because I played a little magnetic mech package because one of the big death rattles I used in the first build was Mechanical Whelp. But on top of that, then you get Ziliax for healing, which for Rogue, always nice to get healing when you're doing a dumb combo deck. But on top of that, there were other cool things that you could do with Zephyrs specifically. Since it was Saviors of Doom, Zephyrs just came out. You could manipulate when to play Zephyrs to get specific things. So if I had Zephyrs in my opening hand, and then I had Anka also in my opening hand, I could know that I could play Zephyrs on 2 and almost always get Wild Growth. So if I started drawing my big dumb combos, I could go start my big dumb combos by turn 5 or by turn 4 rather than like turn 5 or 6. And then on top of that, if you're going into turn 8, you could go Zephyrs to try to discover Tyrion Fordring, who would also be a big dumb death rattle for your Anka. And other cool dumb things that were working in that deck was, so I played Nightmare Amalgam because it was a mech, but I also played Nightmare Amalgam because it was a pirate, because I played original Hook Tusk as an additional big tempo payoff, because one of the other big death rattle dumb things that you could do at the time was Cutlass, not Courier, Spectre, or no, it was this 6 mana 5/3 with Rush that had the death rattle draw combo card from your deck. Normally this card was unplayably bad, but in this deck specifically, it was actually pretty good because you could pull it out of your deck with Hook Tusk, or you could discount it with Anka. And then you had a very small pool of of combo cards. It was like Eviscerate, Edwin Van Cleef, and Evil Miscreant. So you could abuse the lackeys. And yeah, it was basically like all these weird inter-synergies working together. And then the later builds would change up the deck entirely. So the later builds were focused more on Terran Gorefiend, the 3 mana guy who would eat your board and then poop out your board again. What I loved about him is that with Anka, you could eat the little death rattles and then use like a backstab or a Og Merchant to pop your own Terran Gorefiend, refill the board with your big death rattles, and because you ate your little ones, they all triggered too. So you could do some absurd boards, and like there was like Scrapyard Colossus, the Primordial Proto Drake, whatever. There's the Proto Drake, the 8 mana 7,
Yeah.
the 8 mana 7/7 death rattle, and then you could even do more silly things. There was the 7 mana 7/5 Cursed Vagrant that by itself didn't do much, but if you shrank it to 1 mana and then ate it, you'd have 2 7/5s, and one of them had stealth. That's not bad. And then obviously you still did Octo, so you could refill your hand after doing this little scam combo. So that deck was really fun. I actually managed to go like, one of my proudest achievements was taking that deck like 60% during day 1 Demon Hunter, which is like one of the most traditionally like considered to be the most unbeatable metas of all time. But that meta I was able to do with a very silly combo that only lasted for a bit. So I would use Abomination in the deck, and you'd reduce it with Anka the Buried, and then you'd play Abomination, your little death rattles, and then you'd eat Terran. Terran eats all your big death rattles and Abomination. Abomination triggers, clearing the board, clearing your Terran, restarting it by itself. So then you get your big scam board, and you cleared off a bunch of the Demon Hunter's little things. And you were able to get health with like Kartut Defender and stuff like that. So it was a very silly deck, but that was a really fun deck. Another one that's like a lot of people in my chat know me for is Amalgam Hook Tusk. So
Yes.
This was a very weird idea, but it basically came across when I realized that in Rogue, you have like there's very few demons and Quillbores. So you could use Amalgam of the Deep to target a demon or a Quillbore, and then you would almost always get the one Amalgam band as an option. So you could use Shadow Step on one Amalgam of the Deep to copy, generate a whole bunch of one Amalgam bands, and then when you hit turn 7, you were able to clear and fight back for the board very easily, gain lots of life, gain lots of bodies, but because one Amalgam band gets reborn, every single time it's summoned, it counts as a pirate. So then, after you've been controlling the board, you go Hook Tusk, steal their deck. Hook Tusk, steal their hand. Combo with Breakdance. Combo with the Bounce Around. Stuff like that. That was a very fun deck. And I tried like Reno builds when Reno came out. I played non-Reno builds. Yeah. Again, like when I get going on a deck, I spend way too much time on way too many builds, but it is a lot of fun.
So what's next to you next year or so? You got any big plans?
Sorry?
I said, what's next for you over the next year or so? Do you have any big plans?
Ooh, one big thing I want to do is I really want to push my YouTube a lot more. I have a YouTube, but I upload to it very sporadically, and I just gotta get on my butt on that. Just get on my butt and get working and start grinding. The other thing I want to do is I really want to push for partner. It's very annoying because I got affiliate after a week of streaming, and then I just haven't been able to get partners since. So it's been extremely frustrating on that regard. And I'd like to just have that and be like that. That'd be my like hill that I conquered.
All right, so we have one final question for you. And normally this comes later, but we did things out of order, so it comes now. What is your favorite dessert?
Ooh. I think my favorite dessert is either a really good pain au chocolat or a homemade cinnamon bun.
Those both sound really good.
Yeah.
I could go for dessert right now, especially with eating one meal a day. And I'm thinking about food constantly, even though I'm not like needing to eat. I'm always thinking about, hey, what's for dinner tonight? What's for dessert?
Yeah.
So if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by joining our Patreon over at patreon.com/breadandbutterhs. That's the letter N, not and. You get access to our members channel on Discord, where we have lots of previous guests, and you can also help shape questions for the future, ask questions of our future guests. And you also get the raw audio early if you want to just hear things right away. If you'd like to help us in a non-financial way, you just let people know about the show and let us know how we're doing. If you can leave us a review also, it really helps people find the show, and that's what we want is more people to find the show. So when we have great guests on like the Jiminator, more people get to hear them. Jiminator, where can people find you on social media?
Well, I got 3 main spots. You can find me on twitch.tv/thejiminatorhs. I stream almost every day, at least for 4 hours. So if you drop by at some point, you're probably going to catch me. I'm also on X at the JiminatorHS, at JiminatorHS. I don't know if there's some guy in like Yugoslavia who's taken that name, but hopefully not. And then on YouTube, I'm at the JiminatorHS. So yeah.
How about yourself, Pylet?
You can find me at Pylet712. That's Pylat. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky. Definitely Blue Sky now. I finally got that done. and then also on Discord as well, and multiple Hearthstone Discords.
And you can find me at Tito Santana HS on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and anywhere fine leather goods are sold. We'd really appreciate it if you go check out the YouTube and do some likes and subscribes and all that stuff. We've been really pushing out some new content. It's doing some pretty well, but it can always do better. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. It's been kind of an obsession of mine lately, just kind of seeing how things work and trying to, figure out how the algorithms work with us. But Jiminator, do you have any shout outs you'd like to do this week or anything you'd like to promote?
You know what? I'd like to shout out a smaller Hearthstone streamer called Bone Marrow. He's a VTuber Hearthstone streamer. He's a pretty interesting guy. He makes very cool decks. Yeah.
Fantastic. How about yourself, Pylet?
Gonna first shout out to you, Jiminator. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for spending a year reminding all of us that Hook Tusk was still in standard after everyone stopped playing Pirate Rogue after Sunken City. So I loved always seeing, there's a new deck from him, and there's Hook Tusk. I loved it. It was fantastic. And then shout out to Tito for taking care of everything for the show. I got home literally 15 minutes before we recorded tonight. So thanks for taking care of show notes and getting things rolling.
Oh, my pleasure. It's what I used to have to do all the time anyway. So it's been nice that you've been helping me with that, but I have no problem jumping back on that bike. It's pretty easy. I'm going to shout out to Being Rachel and, Brigidus, who both got into the creator program this week, and they work hard, and congratulations to them. And it's nice to see that we're starting to get some momentum on that again. And good job to Alkali, who's starting to crank that machine up and do good things. So shout out to all them. But I think we're toast, guys. We'll see you.
See ya.
Slide two brothers meet one another when they slide up to the mic. It's bread and butter with one another. Let's start up that recording light.